so that the structure could float on light. And we're here to see that optimally today. Now that you're all looking to the north, I'd like you to look to your left, to the west wall. So everybody look left. Okay, what you're starting to see on the left wall is the skylight that exists between the roof and the wall is about 6 inches wide. We're going to keep watching periodically that wall on the left because that is the sun coming over the building. And the first wall that sees the sunlight of solar noon is the west wall. So this part of the exercise is sort of like watching a kettle boil. And you know how long it takes when you watch the tea kettle on the stove. It's very slow to boil. And all of a sudden it starts whistling and it's all over. Got a nice glass of tea. So what you're going to see is that the light becomes like a drape on the west right now. And the light drape is going to be appearing to fall down the wall. So in the next 12 minutes, 10 minutes, you're going to see the light pick up speed as it comes to kiss the floor on the west. Okay, now everybody look to the right. Okay? Here you can see the start of the glow of the light on the skylight on the east wall of this great room. What's going to happen in the next 12 minutes as the light comes over is the light will come down on the west wall to kiss the floor. And right about the minute it really kisses the floor fully on the west, it will climb the wall on the east. And there will be a moment at solar noon when all the shadow alignments on both the east wall and the west wall are perfectly symmetrical. Now, people have said that can't happen. You know, you can't have light on both an east wall face and a west wall face. But they forgot to consider the mathematics of how far away the sun is. It's a long ways away, so yes, you can see light on both an east and west face. Now, what I've just talked to you about happens every day. And some of you have been here working or visiting and observed that, so that's not why we come here today. So along with our ideal of observing the solar noon of each day in our wonderful desert, we thought that there was something special about celebrating the summer solstice. You notice you haven't missed the winter solstice because it's a non-event in the desert, right? I mean, so it's just going to stay nice and comfortably cool for a few more months, big deal. But there is something special about the transition of the heat, the energy, and the dynamic of our desert as we come to a new summer. So as we were designing this room, we were working with structural engineers to make possible the technology to hold the roof up. But we were talking about that technology in accordance with trying to, again, celebrate the sun. So one task was to make the skylights on the east and west walls relevant. But then because of this tensegrity roof, using the ideas of a man named Buckminster Fuller, who developed that concept of a whole new structural idea that was as original as the Romans giving us an arch or, you know, a beam and a column. So with this tensegrity roof, what happens is that we can float the roof over
going back over the west wall,
wherever a column is. And now look straight up, and you're seeing the blue discs of light in this room, which are floating there because of the structural system. And what you're starting to see in the tip of each one of those candle columns, if you will, up where the silver steel connector ties the cables together, and you need to be looking north, please, everybody. Somebody's looking my way. Look north, please. I'm going to see it if you look my way. Because when you're looking up there, what you're starting to see is you're starting to see a dagger of light in the tip of each one of those steel column caps above you. Now, if you look to the west again, to your left, you're seeing it's almost like a pattern of a mountain landscape in the shadows of light coming down the west wall. Now, it's very interesting because you cannot hide anything from sunlight. All the imperfections, all the nuances of change and texture and unevenness are amplified by a steep sun angle. And I think all of us, none of us have really been photographed for our best portrait at high noon in the sun. It's not a pretty picture for any of us. So look at our wall over there that appeared flat a couple minutes ago on the left, or still looks flat over on the right. You're right now. See how flat the wall really looks? But look at how uneven it appears in the washing light of the sun. You see some of the joints between the panels look like there's light cut through them. Other joints are in shadow. You're seeing all of the cables and drain pipes and everything adding to the orchestration, and the wall almost looks like a musical score right now. But we're a little ways away from solar noon, but it will start moving along because the light will, increasing in speed, move down the wall. The other thing that's interesting is, in looking at the west wall now on your left, you're seeing all the little sort of creases. It looks like the boards form the concrete. And that's the micro scale of a sheet of the steel that the concrete was cast over. And so that might be in the surface less than a 16th of an inch, and yet it's making this wonderful pattern on the wall. So, right now, keep watching the west wall. You can look up occasionally because the light is moving closer through the disk above you, the blue disk. And the small little clear light circle in each disk is giving us that triangle of light at the tip of each column. Now, if we had made clear skylights in this room, it would have been very hot, and the light and shadow would have been very confusing to all of you trying to study or use this room comfortably. So we put the diffuser of a translucent lens in each one of the 7-foot round skylights above you. But then we thought it's going to be hot in our town for a long time. And rather than just a translucent glass like around the elevators, it's just off-white, why don't we make it a color? Because color is really a special thing about life and how we see the world. And so we chose the light blue of the big round skylights to be the color of glacial ice.
That wall, that
so any of you that have been to Alaska or Switzerland or where glaciers still exist can attest that this isn't just a Photoshop picture in National Geographic. Glacial ice looks the color of these skylights. And it's why we can sit here all through the year and be a little bit cooler psychologically because of the cast of those blue skylights. Now in the round blue skylights, the light is coming down the wall pretty fast now. You want to look on the left here. I won't let you miss it, I promise. But you can start to see the shadows in their long length as they're coming down to kiss the floor. But as we look at this phenomenon, these small clear dots in the blue skylights were actually located by the science that exists in a book over on the bookshelves over on the left that said this would be the sun angle in solar noon at this latitude. So this will always be here. It won't depend on software that works, an electric motor that will or will not work, something that might break. It is an event like the great phenomenons of the Solar Observatory at Chichen Itza in Mexico, the pyramids in China, the solar dagger at Chaco Canyon. This has been crafted and sculpted of very stable means, and will always be here, not depending on our technology, but just our understanding of the universe. So right now, we're approaching solar noon. I think we're about 60 seconds. Now start watching the east wall to your right. And keep your head going back and forth, left to right, because there's going to be a moment in about 60 seconds when the way the wall looks on the left here right now, the left again, sorry, confusing, left, other side, west, left, okay? The west wall on the left. Keep going back and forth because there'll be a point at solar noon when the east wall and the west wall look exactly alike. So what you're seeing on the left, the west wall, with all that shadow, all that bright light, that's what's going to happen on the east wall. And when we see both walls perfectly symmetrically lit in that sunlight,
battery power.